I used to have like this, I was like this anti-Charles Oliveira guy. And it wasn't that I didn't wish well for him or even think that he was a talented guy. I thought he was a little over his skis. I did not think he was the best in the world. I didn't think his world title would be reckoned, right? I mean, the best guy in the world just retired. That's a little critical of me, but I'm just sharing for you. This is what I thought. I didn't think, I remember he missed weight, and I was there the night Jim Miller made him scream, and I'd always hear from Gabriel Checo. And every time I talked about Charles, I'd say something negative, and Gabriel would get a hold of me and say, hey man, you're not giving him a fair shake. You're bringing up stuff that he did back when he was a kid, back when he was making his debut. This is a new guy. And a few months would go by, and Charles would fight again, and I'd make another hater piece. And one thing that I couldn't understand is how on board you guys were getting with him. That did surprise me. Like Charles Oliveira, the cult hero. I mean, Charles put a base together of you all, of a loyal and powerful base. It surprised me. From a marketing standpoint, he made a lot of mistakes. He shows up, he's not wearing glasses. He shows up, he's wearing glasses. Okay, great. Well, you're in disguise. He shows up, he's got dark hair. He shows up, he's got blonde hair. Like, nobody knows who you are in the first place. It's very important from a marketing standpoint that you at least look the same. He would break all of these rules, but you guys kept getting on board. Okay. So, I then have a chance to see him right up close. I mean, they set me right. I'm at the cage. Here's Dana. Here's the fence. Here's Dana. I'm right here. And it was different. And it was against Sarukian, and he lost the fight. But even in defeat, that's when I saw it. That's when I saw what you guys saw. That's when I realized Gabriel Checo was right. So whenever I need something through Charles Oliveira, I got this wonderful source in Gabriel. That's one of his absolute inner circle, lifelong friends and training partner. So I go to Gabriel yesterday, and it's a total side note. I'm out doing the Ultimate Fighter. I want Gabriel to stop by the gym and help out with a session, and we're having this conversation. And I just asked about Charles. I said, by the way, Ilia Topuria is moving up to light heavyweight. But historically, when an announcement that big is made, the subsequent announcement, the byproduct of the announcement that he has vacated a title and is moving up, is the announcement that he would be fighting, in this case, Islam Makhachev for the world title. That announcement was not made. And so when I go to Gabriel Checo, I say, hey, listen, how's Charles going to play this? And the way I see it, Charles and Sarukian are in a battle. And the battle is for Ilia. Charles is not likely to go right in a title fight against Islam. Now, the only reason I say that, Islam wants some fresh blood. He really does. And that's not an unreasonable request from Islam Makhachev. For him to not want rematches when all he's getting is rematches, that's a very small request, and I think it'd be reasonable if we gave it to him. But the problem with that is if you're debating between Charles or you're debating by Sarukian for who gets the next title shot, they're both a rematch for Islam. So one of the correct answers is neither. Neither gets the next title shot. One of them gets Ilia. And Ilia versus Islam right now, it works. That's not a massive fight. But that's a good fight. That you could do a meaningful piece of business. You'd have a couple of choices. You can go into a smaller market, or you could put a real big co-main event on. But that fight in and of itself, as badly as some of you want it to be, is not. It's not. Tickets go on sale. Nobody's waiting in line. It's not going to sell out in 24 hours. Okay, it's just not. However, Ilia versus Islam, if Ilia defeats Charles first, is a complete other conversation. So, what about Ilia? If Ilia's not going to get a title shot, and it would appear that he's not, even though he would fit the request of being fresh blood, You've got Ramadan, and you also have the fact that an announcement was made that Ilia's vacating. Who's going to be fighting for his title? Announcement was made, tickets on sale, and no mention of Ilia. So it would look as though Ilia's going to have to do a fight first, which, by the way, guys, Ilia versus Islam, it'll be worth the wait if it does happen that way. That will be one of the biggest fights of 2025. But it can't go right now. You gotta have Ilia prove that he can do it. And that either takes you through Tsarukyan or it takes you through Charles. So the way I see it, Charles is in a battle right now with Tsarukyan for Ilia's attention, and this is what I ask Gabriel. Gabriel goes back, he talks to the manager, he gets a hold of me. He gives me the scoop here, and I said, hey, I need to know, Gabriel, can I tell people that I talked to you? Is this a quote? Can I quote the manager on this? Gabriel wrote me back, and this was where'd my phone go? Oh, where'd I put my phone? Priya, do you got my phone? Oh, I don't know where I put my phone. I wanted to read this to you. Okay, guys, this is off the top of my head, but I'll get you there. I'll get you 99.9% of the way there. No, Charles Oliveira will not fight Ilia Topuria. Charles deserves a title shot. In fact, Charles sees it that Ilia has to, if Ilia wants to fight Charles is making a demand that first he fights, and he's got two choices. First, he fight Max Holloway for the BMF belt, and he win, then Charles will grant him the fight, so that Charles is fighting for a title, I assume. Or Ilia fight and defeat Islam. If he fights and defeats Islam and he is the world champion, then Charles will fight him. Because again, it would be for a belt. That surprised me. That is not the landscape as I see it. But we now know where Charles stands. And Ilia has not opened his mouth about 155 pounds, save one, and that is to mention Islam. Ilia does not appear to be interested in anything other than the world title. But for right now, it doesn't look like he's going to get it. And the one guy we have not heard from is Tsarukyan. And if Charles is locked on the stance of, I'm not fighting that guy on day one, I'm not fighting a 45-pounder who's moving up for no reason. If he's locked on that stance, and Tsarukyan's not the most media-savvy guy we've got, but he is in a very interesting position to manipulate the media right now. All Tsarukyan's got to do is be the one to say Ilia's name. Ilia's not going to let it go. Whether Ilia's not looking to fight him right now or not, Ilia's never let anybody off the hook in the media. You want to back and forth with Ilia, just say his name. He'll say yours back. And I do think that you guys would be very interested in Tsarukyan versus Ilia. I do think you'd be very interested in Ilia versus Charles. And I do think that you'd be interested in the winner between Tsarukyan, Ilia, Charles, and Ilia for Islam. But I believe it needs to go in one of those two orders.